One of the biggest lessons that I have learned so far since leaving the United States and deciding to be nomadic internationally is that I cannot afford to be cheap, right? I think that the biggest lesson behind my whole fiasco since I have been in Medellin, Colombia, is the fact that I was trying to save a couple hundred to $300, and it just doesn't make sense, right? Like my whole thing is like I sacrificed my peace, my comfort, and everything that I need in order to be comfortable living in a space for a couple hundred to $300. And although, I'm not a person that beats up on themselves too much about the decisions that I've been made. I'm definitely a person that's always looking for the lesson in the situation, but I would say that overall, I just feel like Medellin, Colombia is not in alignment with me. And I should have known that, right? And I know I haven't mentioned this here, but in 2023, I was staying in like a hostel type Airbnb. And they broke into my Airbnb and like robbed the Airbnb, and I was there during the time that they were doing the robbery. And they didn't rob anything from me. And the reason why is because they didn't know that I was there, right? Like, so they hit all the other rooms. And I could tell, like, it was getting up to a point where I was like, huh. Like, I can tell that they were like going down the hallway and like popping the locks and going in each room. And it wasn't that many people that were sitting there. So, um, for me, that experience should have taught me that Medellin, Colombia is not in alignment with me. But during that time that I came in 2023, I thoroughly enjoyed myself, right? And so it was a kind of thing where I was like, is this a big enough impact to my experience to make me not want to come back to this city? And it wasn't, right? I knew that when I left the country, 6 weeks ago, that I needed a safe landing pad. Safe, right? Like I needed a safe or comfortable landing pad. And because I felt like I needed a safe or comfortable landing pad, I decided to come to somewhere that I had already been, that I knew the neighborhoods, that I knew like kind of the layout and, some things that worked and some things that didn't work. In a way, I kind of feel like that was a mistake, but I know that everything is connected, right? I know that everything always works out for me. And if I didn't come here during this time, during this, season, then I wouldn't have met all of the amazing people that I met because I have met some really like amazing people talking about life bonds, soul connections. And so I'm grateful. If anything, that is the prized possession that I am walking away from this experience with. But baby, listen to me. Medellin will not see me again. Okay. Like after I leave and go to my next country, Medellin won't see me again. Maybe Bogota, maybe Santa Marta, maybe maybe Cali, but Medellin, no. Um, but the biggest lesson, just going back to, you know, the reason for this video, the biggest lesson that I learned is that I cannot afford to be cheap. I am a person who places my value in experiences. And with, if you put experience as the umbrella, right? If experience is the umbrella, right up under it is like comfort, right? I have to feel comfortable enough in a home to feel like my experience is worth what I've paid for it, if that makes sense. Like staying in a home that you're not comfortable with, that you don't know how to operate, that you don't know how things are supposed to work inside of the home can ruin your whole experience, in which it has, right? There are other things that happened to me though while I was in Medellin, right? Outside of the whole Airbnb, which is a huge part of it because that's my home, right? I got pickpocketed, which is not abnormal, but still like I don't like the fact of having to be super hyper vigilant about having my phone out, being hyper vigilant about, where I place my money, like, if I have to have a backpack, make sure I carry my backpack on the front of me, like where I place my money inside my purse and in my backpack. Like I don't like having to be hyper vigilant about that kind of stuff. Like I want to be aware, right? Because I'm street smart. I'm from Chicago. Like I know, but I also came from the United States. And in my next home and where I want to live, I want to feel safe. And if I feel like I can't feel safe by just living my everyday life and having to think about the fact that somebody may steal something from me, yeah. Like I just don't want to be in spaces and environments like that. I want to be in spaces and environments where I can just be safe and not fear that somebody is going to rob me. Um, and I have a daughter, right? Like I'm going to be traveling with my daughter to different places. So with me having my energy and my focus on her safety, there are going to be some things that I'm not going to be always conscious of because I'm focused on her. And so with that being said, like having to always be super vigilant about, if somebody's going to steal my phone out of my pocket or, different things like that, like I don't want it. Um, and yeah, I definitely got pickpocketed. Um, Outside of that, like the whole laundry situation, not having no clothes, like then losing my laundry. And then just overall, like the whole experience was like very overstimulating. I didn't realize that who I was in 2023 is different from the woman that I am now. I don't really enjoy like all of this, oh, like the loudness, like I appreciate the culture because it is a very loud and vibrant culture. However, it's not for me, right? Like I would much rather be in an environment that is still a city, but that's not as like loud. That's not like always very overstimulating. And I'm in Bogota right now, and it could just be this neighborhood that I'm in, but things are very quiet. We walk down the street, we walk around, and everything is very quiet. It's not quiet, quiet because it's still a city, but it's not as loud as Medellin. And it could just be the neighborhood. It could just be the neighborhood, but I can appreciate this because I was very overstimulated in Medellin. Um, and sacrificing my peace, sacrificing my comfort, sacrificing, just my safety is nothing. It costs. It's very expensive. And for me, I'm aware that in order to be comfortable, in order to feel safe, I am going to have to pay the price. And those prices may not always be the most affordable option, right? Because already we're paying gringo prices. We are already paying gringo prices. However, to be a gringo, and to feel safe as a gringo, that comes at a cost, right? It comes at a cost to be a foreigner in another country. And you're either going to pay for it with your peace in your comfort, or you're gonna pay for it in dollars. Okay. And so I'm just like, I'm learning. I'm learning so much about myself. I'm learning so much about what I need. And I'm going to take all of the lessons that I learned in this experience and I'm going to put them in my pocket for my next venture. All right. I'm not giving up. I might not, this place might not be for me, but there are plenty of other places that are for me. And I think that the best thing that I can do is take what I'm learning and keep going, right? About I'm not complaining, right? I'm just saying what's for me and what's not for me. Um, I'm saying that I know that this culture is what this culture is, and I can accept it, and I think it's beautiful, but it's not for me. I think that a lot of times when I hear different things on the internet about people and their travel experiences, the people in the comments take it as the the foreigners complaining. But I never take it as that. I always take it as that's person's individual experience. And if you're looking at this, this is my individual experience. This is my perspective, right? Everybody's different, right? What's for one person isn't for another person, right? And so the reason why I don't take, what everybody is saying, what all the travel influencers or whoever is saying, it's because I had to experience it for myself, right? Because I know what works for one person doesn't work for the next. And so you take that, right? Even though you're right here and listening to my experience, I still say go and experience it for yourself, right? Like go and see what it's like for you because you might get into the environment and you might really feel like this is what I need in order to, be the best version of myself, right? You might come to an environment and be like, okay, this is for me. But for me, that wasn't the case. Like it wasn't the case. Like I needed something different. I need something different. And I know myself well enough to know like what I need. And I'm still learning, right? Because I do believe that we change, we evolve. And as I grow older and as I grow wiser and as I grow just into like this woman that I am becoming, there are going to be different things, right? Like it's going to change. It's not going to always be the same. And so I recognize that in just my navigation of like my entire journey. Um, and so yeah, this has been an amazing reflection for me. Um, it's expensive, very expensive to be cheap. And I don't know if I've ever really been a frugal person. I think that I'm frugal in some regards, right? Like I'm frugal when it comes to like material possessions. Like, I'm not a person that is big on like name brands. I want comfort. As long as the clothes are comfortable, as long as the shoes are comfortable, I don't I don't care if it don't have a name on it at all. These shoes I got on my feet, I'm not gonna show y'all, but these shoes that I got on my feet don't got no name on them at all. But they comfortable. I've walked several thousand steps in these shoes and they're comfortable and they're cute. I feel like you get to a certain age and you just don't really care about those sort of things, but that's subjective, of course. Like there are plenty of people who actually really do care about name brands and stuff like that, but it's just not me. My luxury is a different kind of luxury. My luxury is peace. My luxury is comfort, right? I would much rather pay my money on first class flights and get to a place and be like have on oh yeah, that's what it is. I would rather pay for first class flights and get to a place and wear my Shein clothes or wear my Amazon clothes. That's the person that I am. I'm a person who would much rather have, the penthouse suite than to, have all of the name brand clothes in their bag. Not to say I have to sacrifice one for another. It's just like my luxuries and what I want for my life are far different from other people. Like, so yes. That's all I got for y'all today. If you enjoyed this message, if you resonated, please be sure to leave me a comment below. My name is Marquita. I am a spiritual coach. I am an author, and I'm also the host of the Alchemy Soul podcast. I'm currently on a 365-day long form content challenge. So if you're interested, please be sure to subscribe because I will be back here every single day. Every single day with some kind of lesson, some kind of message, something. We're going to be talking about it. Okay? Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.